The human situation is ambivalent, for evidence of order in the universe is ambiguous. Some things seem explicable by laws that seem to govern events, other things do not. The fact of human love and compassion gives evidence for a benevolent deity. The fact of hatred and violence, and the fact of an impersonal universe, point in the other direction. It is here that Father Panelou, in The Plague, images for us an existential Christian stance. Dr. Rieu, you will recall, refused to accept the created order because it was a scheme of things in which children are put to torture. Father Panelou, on the other hand, says, "But perhaps we should love that which we cannot understand." Father Panelou has leaped to faith in and love for the existence of a good God, even though the immediate evidence is all in the other direction. Rather than accounting for the absurdity of the universe on the basis of the fall, as a Christian theist would do, Father Panelou assumes God is immediately responsible for this absurd universe. Therefore he concludes that he must believe in God in spite of the absurdity. Camus elsewhere calls such faith intellectual suicide, and I am inclined to agree with him. But the point is that while reason may lead us to atheism, we can always refuse to accept reason's conclusions and take a leap toward faith. To be sure, if the Judeo-Christian God exists, we had better acknowledge it, because in that case our eternal destiny depends on it. But, say the existentialists, the data is not all in and never will be, and so every person who would be a theist must step forth and choose to believe. God will never reveal himself unambiguously. Consequently, each person, in the loneliness of his or own subjectivity, surrounded by a great deal more darkness than light, must choose. And that choice must be a radical act of faith. When a person does choose to believe, a whole panorama opens. Most of the propositions of traditional theism flood in. Yet the subjective, choice-centered basis for the worldview colors the style of each Christian existentialist's stance within theism. 2. The personal is the valuable. As in atheistic existentialism, theistic existentialism emphasizes the disjunction between the objective and the subjective worlds. Martin Buber, a Jewish existentialist, has the terms I, thou, and I, it to distinguish between the two ways a person relates to reality. In the I-it relationship, a human being is an objectifier. Now, with the magnifying glass of peering observation, he bends over particulars and objectifies them, or with the field glass of remote inspection, he objectifies them and arranges them as scenery. He isolates them in observation without any feeling of their exclusiveness, or he knits them into a scheme of observation without any feeling of universality.